Hi, my name is Neil and welcome to my video of how to prevent and treat canker sores for real. This is not a sales thing, okay? This is just me. Quick start off, a legal disclaimer. I'm not a doctor. This is not medical advice or recommendation. I hold no responsibility for any choices you make as a result of this video or because of watching it. This is only a description of what I have done for canker sores. I have no affiliation with any product or company. I will be recommending some, but this is an unbiased perspective. I receive nothing from these companies and have no relationship with them whatsoever. The reason I'm making this video is because I've suffered from canker sores since I was an adolescent, and it's just a miserable thing. And I've been able to figure out how to prevent canker sores fairly well, and some great information that I want to share with you today. And this is the middle of coronavirus, so I've got a little bit of extra time on my hands, and so I wanted to make this video, do it for you all, and maybe help somebody out, because it is such a horrible thing. And anytime you look on the internet, you see a bunch of ridiculous web pages. It looks like you're on the dark web, and you know, just shoddy websites and half information and just very poor quality things. And so I just wanted to put something decent together that kind of shows a comprehensive approach and all of the things that I've learned through my course of learning hard lessons and having some awful pain of what has worked for me. I don't ever do videos. The only reason I'm doing this is because I want to help somebody. I actually used to own a video production company, so doing a webcam video with poor lighting and, you know, poor everything, kind of, it's hard for me, but hopefully this helps somebody out. And I'm guessing you're watching this video because you're looking for that help. So, you know, I've had it all. I've had the sores in the back of my mouth. I've had the sores on my tongue, the sides, you know, where I can't talk. Just awful, awful experiences. I can't stand them. But, you know, I've, like I say, I've been learning to manage them. I do have notes, so that's why I'm looking down, as I want to make sure that I cover everything. So please forgive me for that. So, canker sores are a complex problem. If you've gone to a doctor, if you've read online, they say, "Oh, we don't know where it is, or what it is and where it comes from. We don't know if it's a virus, a bacteria, or what." Which is incredible to me, that we can, you know, fly to the moon, but we can't figure out the source of a canker sore or the cause of it. My personal suspicion is that we get canker sores from some sort of a deficiency, a mineral, a vitamin, an amino acid, something. You know, I don't understand anything like that with biology or whatnot, but I think that we have some sort of a lack in that, and that's what makes us more susceptible for canker sores to be created. So because there's no official medical understanding, there's no official medical treatment. If you go to a doctor, they say, "Man, I don't know. Here, you can try this, you can try that." They give you a lot of treatments for after the fact, which we'll go over. I know of a good one, or some good ones, but, you know, not a lot on the prevention side. So I do believe that I have found some actual solutions, and I want to share them with you today. So, okay, so I'm going to go through prevention, and then I'm going to talk about treatment, and then we're going to do just a brief summary of all of it. I'll try and keep the information as concise as possible, because I don't want to be a ridiculously long YouTube video that rambles on. So I'll get right to it. Okay. So starting out on the prevention side, what I do and what I do not do. Okay, all of this I have reasoning for, and I've scientifically tested to the best degree that an individual can, of, oh, I try this, oh, then I don't do it, and then the canker sores get worse. So I've got personal data and information, but obviously, you know, if you want to implement it for your own life, it's, you know, kind of a leap of just faith, of understanding that it's something that I've tried and verified and legitimately works for me. All right, so the don'ts. Avoid large amounts of citrus at a time. So this is orange juice, lemonade, those kind of things. That the biggest don'ts are the orange juice and the lemonade on the citrus. It's like an automatic thing. If I just have a big thing of lemonade and I can feel that my mouth isn't in the best condition possible with the mucosa, I can get, it's almost guaranteed I'm going to get a sore. Sometimes if just a small amount, or if you feel like you're nice and strong, you've been doing some of these other steps, you can fight that and it's not going to be as big of a deal. But those are the big no-nos. I also noticed with nuts, those cause me cankers, and chocolate causes cankers. Not as bad as the citrus stuff, but they certainly do. I do eat these things. I can't not eat these things. That's just how I am. I'm going to eat them. But if I'm careful and I don't go crazy with it, it's not too bad. It also makes sense that there's other things that can cause the degradation of the strength of the skin in your mouth, like soda, excess sugar, but I personally haven't found a definitive correlation like I have with these other things for me personally. Last for the don'ts is stress. I know it's like, oh yeah, don't be stressed. Like somebody can just tell you to stop being stressed. If you can learn to manage your stress a little bit better, and you've probably seen this in your own life, that you get hit with a lot of stress and bam, canker's right there. So again, same principle applies. If you have the strong preventative measures in place, sometimes you can withstand higher levels of stress, higher levels of other things, but that's one of the main factors. So just, do what you can on that one. All right, now into the do's. So first off is mouth hygiene. I found that keeping my mouth cleaner than a normal person means that substances in food and drink have less opportunity to wear at my oral mucosa. Keeping my mouth cleaner than the typical person is proven very effective. This means proper brushing. Brush the back, upper, and lower teeth correctly. So make sure you get all of the crud that's in the back teeth. Also, brushing in the outer troughs of my lower teeth has seemed to help quite a bit too. So pointing the bristles of the toothbrush down and then just brushing inside the troughs of the mouth. And then flossing regularly helps too. And then I'll also occasionally do an alcohol-based mouthwash, occasionally like Listerine. Next on the do list are vitamins. So taking a basic vitamin seems to contribute to the lower quantity and severity of the sores, but this is not as obvious as some of the other measures, okay? It seems to help. It's not like a definitive proven thing that I've been able to do for myself, but I believe it does. What does help a ton is L-lysine. So this is probably the biggest preventative help for me overall, is taking this. And I'll take the vitamin with the L-lysine just because it's there, it's right there. But the L-lysine is an amino acid, and there's evidence that it prevents both cankers and cold sores. There's also evidence that a large quantity helps decrease the healing time for a canker. It has for sure helped me. I have only taken it as a preventative, so I can't vouch for the higher doses for the recovery and healing time. But I take like 500 milligrams about every other day or so, as much as I can remember, just around breakfast time. And if I miss, I get an ulcer almost guaranteed every time. So this is like the hardcore number one preventative thing is the L-lysine. It's online. It's pretty cheap, or you can typically get it at a grocery store with the vitamins or mineral section. And then lastly is water. This seems simple, but it's true. If I haven't been drinking enough water, it's been completely correlated with getting new sores in my experience. So just try and stay hydrated all the time. It's good practice in general, but it totally is a real thing. All right, now on the treatment side. So treatment for canker sores is a delicate balance. All right, sometimes the pain and discomfort is so awful that you feel like you do anything to make it better. I've been there. What? Just quick, funny, stupid side story. I had a canker in the back of my throat that was probably the size of a nickel, and I went to the doctor, because I was just so desperate. And this was a couple years ago, before I knew all this. And he looks in the back of my throat and he goes, "Now, tell me what I'm looking at." And I'm like, this is the most ridiculous canker sore of all time, and you can't see it in the back of my throat. It's like totally obvious. So anyway, it was super funny. But I'll never forget that. "Tell me what I'm looking at." So cankers often form in spaces that have some sort of friction, so it becomes an open wound and it can be horrible. My experience has been that treatments often delay the time it takes for the canker to heal. So that's one of the reasons that I've been very cautious with using treatments that you see at the supermarket. There is one prescription treatment that has actually worked good for me and doesn't seem to delay healing, which is what I'll share here in a second. Here's what has not worked. Ointments and pastes. So the topical treatments you find at the store seem to provide good immediate pain relief by covering the sore and preventing the nerves from getting touched, but delay the healing time. You pretty much have to balance the pain you feel with wanting to use these to potentially delay the healing. I've also seen that these can make the ulcer larger, which is miserable. Next is the patches. These first caught my attention and I thought they were pretty cool, and I tried them. They're good in theory, but the concern I've had is that they're too thick and most of the time they don't dissolve. And then sometimes the sores are in places where there isn't moisture to be able to allow them to dissolve. And they can be uncomfortable because they're so big and bulky in your mouth. Were they designed differently? I think that they may be better. I just don't like them where they're at right now. Next is my dad used to tell me to put a covering of salt on the canker. And this is an old idea that I think came from the assumption that it is bacterial and it would clean it. No. This is so, it just hurts. It's just awful. I can't stand it. And I haven't seen any healing effects for an application of salt. So I just do not recommend that. All right, so the one product that has worked for me in treatment and healing is a product called Debacterol. I'd never heard of it or seen it until my dentist recommended it to me. It wasn't covered under my insurance, so it cost me probably $80 to get it. But obviously, when you're in canker pain, it's like I'll pay $100 if you want. But it's basically two chemicals that are in a cotton swab. And you snap it, and then the chemicals mix together, and then you dab it onto the sore itself. You get the immediate pain relief, but most importantly, it seems to promote the healing in the sore itself, shrinking it and helping it form the covering that eventually heals it, rather than expanding the sore like some of those others do. It also covers it enough to block the nerve endings from being exposed, which is like the best. I wouldn't use this super frequently because, again, prevention is best. You shouldn't even have to if you follow the steps I covered in the prevention section. But when you do have to, this seems definitely the best thing that works for me. So the other two, and that's by prescription if I didn't mention that. So the other two prescription medications that I've tried that seem to work in healing are valsiclovir and prednisone. Valsiclovir is a popular antiviral. It was prescribed by my ENT as a 1 gram, that's 1,000 milligram dose to be used to fight particularly bad sores. He instructed me to use it alongside the prednisone, which is a common steroid, to promote the healing. I've used these only a few times for sores that I feel forming in particularly bad spots, or after a sore has grown and gotten very bad. And that's when I'll use those treatments, because it can either shut them down before they really start, or it can, do that extra bit of attack to get them starting on the healing process if they get just out of control. And my doctor didn't have any serious evidence for the use of these for canker sores because of the ambiguity and elusive nature of their treatment. But once he saw how badly I suffered sometimes because of them, he said, I'd be willing to let you try whatever if it may possibly work. And he recommended this, and it has worked for me. I use these meds in extreme moderation and only when the circumstance warrants it. Make sure you talk to your doctor for what's best for you for any of this, and especially these. All right, in summary, if you've watched this video so far, I'm guessing it's because you're desperate for a solution to help you. Again, I totally sympathize with you because canker sores can be so horrible. I can't give medical advice, but I truly believe that if you follow these steps when appropriate and approved by your doctor, you can find relief too. To summarize the most important points so that cankers don't have to form in the first place: 1, avoid damaging foods. 2, control stress. 3, stay hydrated. 4, maintain best oral hygiene. 5, regular vitamins. And 6, the L-lysine. That's the best. I really hope this helps you. If you have any questions, comment below and I'll respond as I am able. Thank you for watching and for putting up with my first in-person video.